Music, dance, theater. It's time to take a seat on the aisle with Tom Alvarez. Hear from performers, producers, presenters, and creators who enrich our lives in the performing arts. Who's on stage? Here is Tom Alvarez to introduce you.
Hello, and welcome to On the Aisle with me, Tom Alvarez. Today's guest is dancer and entrepreneur Yoshiko Kamikusa, principal dancer with the Indianapolis Ballet. Join me now as I go on the aisle for a conversation with Yoshiko.
Central Indiana. Wish TV is now live on YouTube TV and Hulu Live, offering more hours of local programming than any other station. Search for Wish TV or look for CW8 on both YouTube TV and Hulu Live to find us. Watch local news, sports, and lifestyle shows live from Wish TV. You can still catch Wish TV free over the air or stream it live on wishtv.com and on the free Wish TV mobile apps. Wish TV, available in more places for the latest news, weather, and sports.
It's a delight to have you in the studio, and I've been trying to make this happen for a while, and so finally I'm so pleased that you're here.
Yeah, no, I'm so excited to be here, and thank you for inviting me.
Okay, well, we're here to talk about your background, your career, and specifically about your tenure with the Indianapolis Ballet, of which you are a principal dancer. So,
Sure.
Okay, so let's start with telling our audience and filling me in on your background. I know a bit about you, but I really like to explore where people come from.
Sure.
Where they grew up, where they went to school. Families, who are your people, all of that sort of thing. So let's get started. Where are you from?
So I was originally born in Tokyo, Japan.
Okay.
And I only spent 6 years there before moving to Hawaii when I was 7 years old.
Yeah.
I did my elementary years there, and then I went to Vancouver when I was about 12. I spent 5 years there. And then I got a job with the Royal Winnipeg Ballet in Winnipeg, so I moved to Winnipeg. I spent 5 seasons there before coming here to Indy in 2018, and I've been here ever since.
Wow. So what was Hawaii like?
Nice weather.
Yeah, whereabouts?
In Waikiki.
Wow, how magical was it, in fact?
It was. I think it was a great environment to grow up in. I actually went to an all-girls Catholic school.
You did?
I did.
Okay. What was it called?
It was called Sacred Hearts Academy.
Okay.
That was like the only in-person schooling I've done because everything else I started to do online because I wanted to pursue ballet.
How interesting. So that was like 8 years?
6 years in Hawaii, and then
At the school, the Sacred Heart?
Yes, 6 years, yeah.
Okay, all right. So did you have an order of nuns teach you?
We had sisters around campus, but our teachers were just normal teachers.
I'm a Catholic boy, so that's why this interests me.
Yeah.
Okay, so what was Winnipeg like?
Winnipeg was also not good weather.
Oh, I would say what a shock that must have been to go from that one weather to another like that.
I mean, I did have Vancouver as a cushion. It's, I would say, one of the least cold areas in Canada. But Winnipeg, I think it was at one point one of the 5 coldest cities in the world. So it's like a tundra, to be honest.
Okay. Well, you've had some experience moving here to Indianapolis with the weather, although it's pretty mild compared to that, right?
It's fine. I mean, I actually like that we have 4 seasons here.
Yeah.
It's really nice. I mean, I know we can also get 4 seasons in a day.
Yeah.
Which is really interesting.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Okay, so let me ask you about how it is that you found ballet, or how did ballet find you?
Originally, it was more of my mom's push. I think there was a little dance school next to my dad's friend's son's pool area, and above it was a ballet studio, and my dad's friend was like, oh, why doesn't your daughter go there? And so I was like, and my mom was like, oh, that's great. Like, she has always wanted me to have movement and artistry, and so she was like, I don't really want you to go into gymnastics because that feels like there's no art form in there. So she wanted me to have like music and something that was, I guess, I don't know, feminine in a way. So yeah, I went there. I had no idea what ballet was. I wasn't really, I didn't grow up with it or anything. I didn't go to a show. I wasn't one of those little kids running around in tutus or anything.
You had never seen a Nutcracker?
I don't think I've seen one prior to.
Okay.
Yeah. My first one was probably when I was in it myself.
Yeah, what were your parents' background, or your mother's background that she had an interest in you?
Well, she actually had a background in fashion.
Ah.
So she went to design college. She worked as a designer in several famous clothing companies.
Really? Uh-huh.
And so I guess she always kind of had this creative side to her. But I think she also really wanted me to be exercising.
Yeah.
Because she felt that was important for my health.
So there wasn't any great pressure, though. You were you embraced it.
I did. I don't think I really knew. I was just following along, and I was like, oh, this is fun.
And how old were you?
I was 7 at the
Okay.
time.
Yeah.
But when I was 11, I went to my first international ballet competition. And this is where you kind of see like prodigies in a sense, because they're very far up in their training, and I was nowhere near that. So I was like, oh, okay, wow, this could be a serious thing. And so I said, maybe I want to do this professionally. And so ever since then, I've been kind of single-minded in that career.
Tell me about that ballet competition that you just mentioned. What was it called? And does it still exist?
There's a lot of different international ballet competitions. The very first one I went to was called Youth America Grand Prix.
Okay.
It's very, very popular right now. It's all over
Yeah.
the United States. It's also international.
Didn't they brought it here a few years back with Eldar Aliyev, who was with Ballet International.
Yeah, I think he was one of the judges.
At the Palladium.
often.
I went to it. It was fabulous.
Yeah, I think they have the competition every year here.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Is it like a regional thing?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And then they have the finals usually either in Florida or in New York.
And did you compete in those?
In my very first year, I did a regional, and then I made it to finals, so I did go to New York.
Wow.
But then there's also even bigger international ballet competitions. We kind of call these like the Olympics of ballet. There's one in Jackson, there's one in Moscow, there's one in Varna, Bulgaria, there's one in Helsinki, Finland. I think some of these may be due to budget, and also just maybe politically they might not be doing some of those anymore. But yeah, I also frequently did the competition circuit.
When you were a 7-year-old, did you, what was your impression of that whole world, that culture?
Well, when I was 7, I only went to my little local studio in Hawaii, so I didn't really feel any pressure. It was really just, I went there to have fun with my friends, I think. I didn't really think too much of it. But when I was introduced to these competitions at 11, that's when I got more serious. And when I left Hawaii to go to Vancouver, that's when I enrolled in a professional ballet school.
Okay.
And that's when training was really, really intense.
At what point was it, after seeing the competitions, that you knew the level of discipline it was going to take for you to move forward? Did you have an awareness of that?
I think I did. I think especially my technique wasn't up to par at that point, and I saw these other coaches and students, really having their form and their basic technique, that I was like, oh, I could really refine that. I need some advanced professional teachers to help me get there.
Isn't it funny, though, in a way, you started late at 7, didn't you? Because sometimes it's like the
3?
year after, when they're post toddler practically. Yeah.
No, I think when you start at 3, it's really just like an intuition thing. You're not you don't know anything at that point. But I think at 7, I don't mind that I started a little late, because I think I had awareness too of the art form, and that I wasn't just doing it for no reason.
I've never asked this question, but do you? Okay, so when you're very young, are there, to really be successful in ballet, do you have to be born with a certain body type, or can you be any kind of a body type and train so that you can do what's required? Does that make sense?
Yes.
What I just asked?
Yes.
Okay.
I feel like this is a really tricky question sometimes, because I want to say yes, you're going to need certain natural facilities that will help you do the ballet movements that are required of you. Like sometimes the people who are born with especially like hyperextended knees, or they have really arched feet, or they have natural turnout, or they have really great flexibility, it makes the transition easier to become a ballet dancer. I do think people who are born with natural facilities have an advantage in making it to this profession. But
and were you born with them?
I had certain things. I had flexibility. That was a big one for me. I also had a natural sense of, I think, turning. So that was, I think, one of my strong suits. But I wasn't born with nice legs and feet. That was something I did work for, and I continue to, because ballet does require a certain aesthetic when it comes to your lines. So there's a lot of research and scientific studies with like how to train your body to make it more adaptable to ballet. There are ways, I think, to maximize your body's potential, but how far that potential goes, I think that varies from individual to individual. And I mean, not everybody makes it, for sure. I mean, there are too many aspiring dancers and too little jobs to become a professional dancer. So honestly, becoming a professional dancer is a feat in itself. Of course, there's always, higher goals for everybody at different points in their lives. But again, like back to your question, is it easier for some people if they have certain facilities in their natural bodies? I would say yes.
Well, obviously you made the cut.
Yes, I did.
Tell me about Winnipeg and its reputation and all, and the time you spent there.
Yeah, well, that was my first professional experience, being hired to dance. Whereas, when you're a student, you pay so much money to get your training and you buy your shoes on your own. That was a big financial burden to my parents, for sure. But Winnipeg was great. They were also a union company, so a lot of ground rules were laid out. It was very professional in how they conducted their rehearsals and their repertoire, and they were also a very established company because I think now they're in their 85th season or something, but they've had this ballet company in that city for a very long time. So
and where did they perform?
They perform primarily in Winnipeg, but they also tour.
Did they have a venue that their own home?
Yes, it was the concert hall, the Centennial Concert Hall.
How many seats?
Oh, I don't know if
Big
I'm remembering
one.
this correctly, but I'm sure 2,000.
Oh wow, that's big.
Yeah, so it was a great company to start off with, and they treated me well, and I received a lot of opportunities. I was really young, so I was 18 when I first got in, and the transition from student to professional is, especially the first 2-3 years, it can be pretty perplexing.
So you start in the chorus.
Yes,
then okay. And
yes,
what are the steps to you become a principal?
Well, so the ranks it can vary slightly from company to company, but in Winnipeg it was apprentice, corps de ballet, second soloist, first soloist, and principal.
Okay. Yeah, I misspoke when I said chorus. They're the other, the apprentice is like when you first come in.
Yeah. But that journey of going up the ranks is not always guaranteed. Just because you stay at a company for a long time doesn't mean they will promote you.
Yeah.
That is one of the hardest things, I think, in a company, and to see if the artistic staff sees you climbing up the ranks eventually, or they don't see that at all for you. And personally, in Winnipeg, as much as they offered me opportunities, I don't think they saw me climbing up the ranks. So for me, that was sort of motivation for me to see if I could reach out to other companies and see if that...
A different perspective from someone else.
Yes, yeah. And because I felt like I had skills to offer that could be used in a higher rank. So I think it's from that, I guess, I don't know. It sounds though that was built into your character, that you were saying, well, I'll show you. Yeah, in a bit. I don't like to say that outwardly, but I think there's always a little bit of a...
Well, that, in my experience, that runs true for any profession. If you have to, it's part of who you are. You're
sure.
ambitious and you're
Yes.
driven.
Yes.
And if I'm going to do this, I'm going to go for broke here.
Yes.
Why waste my time, right?
No, and that's exactly it. Like, I didn't really want to see myself in the corps de ballet for the rest of my life.
You didn't want to be unhappy,
I
right?
didn't. I felt like all the work I've put into my training and all of the accolades that I've built up, I felt like I had more to offer.
You know, a lot of popular media, I don't know, it just came to me. It wasn't like Black Swan, was it, the movie? And for anybody listening, if you saw that movie, it's like the cutthroat world of ballet. And I think there are a number of movies and films that portray that.
Yes.
I mean, it does exist, though, isn't it?
It does. I don't think it's as maybe dramatic, or it doesn't at least happen that often.
Yeah. Well, you know, that's why the movies
Hollywood.
are popular. You got to have conflict,
Yes.
right?
So,
But you don't have some backbiting colleague and, you know,
no, I've never.
throwing stuff on the ground so you'll slip and fall. And then you can
No, thankfully, I've had some really great colleagues.
Yeah.
I have not run into anybody.
How supportive is it among dancers, just generally in your experience?
I think it depends on the company.
Okay.
It depends on the environment. It depends on what kind of dancers.
So companies have cultures,
Oh,
do
yes,
they not?
yes.
Some are more supportive than others. Some are more competitive.
Yes. I'd say both in Winnipeg, and especially here, the dancers are very supportive of each other. And I think that's really nice to see, because it's already such a competitive world. And I feel like once you make it to being a professional, all you really want to do is like support each other, help them, and not just, I don't know.
Well, if you succeed and you're a member of a team or a company, you all succeed. You don't want any weak links, right?
Yes. Especially the company's image as a whole does reflect on the entire company.
What were your, tell me about your instructors. How did you like the training that they gave you?
In Vancouver?
You know, I know that they're, I'm familiar in my own career, and I ran a ballet company that the teachers were primarily teach the Russian, the Russian Ballet International. I was briefly the managing director, and, you know, many of them, you probably know this, many of them, you know, were immigrants, and they fled communism to come here, and so they grew up in the Russian, what's it called? Has it got a particular name? Yeah.
Technique, yes.
Yeah, and some of them have performed with the Kirov, and and the Bolshoi, and wow, I
Yeah.
mean, and that's what they were teaching. So,
Yes.
what did you have any Russian training?
Yes, I primarily started in Varanova training. I had Russian teachers. The two that I honestly owe my life to were in Vancouver at the Go Ballet Academy. They were principal dancers with the Leningrad Ballet in Russia.
And did they flee communism? Or did they, what's the word I'm looking for? They, what is the word?
Defected?
Anyway, they're defected.
No, I don't think they defected. I think they just chose to come to
Okay. Yeah.
the States. But yeah, so yes, I trained primarily Russian, but when I came here, it was Balanchine based.
Yes.
So that has certainly affected my dancing. It has broadened my style and technique.
So again, now let's talk about how it is that you came to Indianapolis.
Sure. So as with any ballet company, you have to audition. So when I was looking for opportunities with different companies after Winnipeg, I honestly just sent out my video auditions to a lot of different companies. And then with Indianapolis Ballet, the artistic director, Vicky at the time, she saw my video and she was really happy and impressed with my skills. So she invited me to audition and she said, "Would you like to come here?"
What year was that?
This was 2017.
And where was the audition held?
So it was not your typical audition. I came to the Indianapolis Ballet Studios, and I actually worked with her and Chris Lingner at the time. I did the Nutcracker Pas de Deux, both the Snow and the Sugar Plum Fairy, with him in that week, so that she was like, maybe you could be the guesting. You could guest as your Sugar Plum Fairy and Snow Queen for the show's production of the Nutcracker in that year. So the audition was during around October 2017, and Nutcracker is during December. So she just kind of wanted to see how I worked in the studio, and she really liked how I worked and my dancing. So she invited me back to do that 2017 performance of the Nutcracker, and then she offered me a contract.
So what was the audition like? How did it feel?
It was really strange because I had never worked with her before. That was my very, very first time, but I think I knew right on that first day in the studio that we were going to work really well together.
Mm-hmm.
I was really happy and excited to be in the room with someone who was as passionate about the art form as I was.
How much of a difference does it make? And it's not uncommon for former dancers to become choreographers and to head up companies. So does it make a difference when you're working with a fellow dancer or a former dancer? Do they have an advantage over someone who's not danced?
Yes. I would say at least 90% of the time, especially with professional ballet companies, the artistic staff and, of course, the director normally have some sort of professional dance experience. Especially if it's a ballet company, they would probably have been a professional ballet dancer. I think it's really difficult to run a ballet company or even to teach students if you don't have a professional dance background yourself.
Yeah, it makes sense. In your company, I just thought of something. We're very fortunate that you have a managing director, Don Steffi, who is a former dancer himself. And he also, didn't he dance Balanchine?
I'm sure he did.
I think in New York City, did he not? Or somewhere?
Yeah.
He was on the show, and it was very enlightening. I did not know that he had been a dancer. Yeah.
Yeah. And and he's in the executive role, so we don't really see him in the studios often.
But I think that's why he's so good at what he does. We can give him a shout out. Hopefully he'll listen to this.
Yes.
But I've been an arts administrator but I'm also an actor, and I've studied theater, so I've been in the trenches, and so no one can sell your product better than you if you've been there.
Yeah.
And I think that's the advantage your ballet company has, that you have someone like that who knows how to sell the mission.
Right.
And knows what a day-to-day life is like for you guys, the dancers, and why you're worthy of support. Would you say that's correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and he's, he really conveys gratitude for being able to help dancers like yourself make a living. Take home a paycheck, pay your bills,
It is hard.
And he apparently didn't, he was partly responsible for the fact that you guys, were you able to work during COVID, or you got paychecks?
Yeah,
or during the pandemic?
Yes, I think that was also due to Vicky as well.
Yes,
I
of
think
course.
We were one of the very few companies during COVID to have worked as much as we did. I think being a smaller company also had its advantages, because if you were unionized, I think it was very hard to go through the loops and everything. But yeah, we did so much filming and rehearsing during that time. Obviously, there was no audiences, but we were hired.
What was it like dancing for no audiences?
Honestly,
with
it
no
was
audiences
terrible.
to dance for, however, whatever.
It was looking back on it, it was really a tough time.
Did it make you appreciate, though, moving forward when you came back to dance? It makes a difference?
The very first time we were able to do a show without our masks, I
Oh
think
my gosh.
that was
I remember seeing those,
that was a moment where it was like, okay, oh my gosh, this is amazing.
How did you dance with those masks? Wasn't it suffocating?
It was really bad.
Because you have to breathe.
Yes.
And they're hot.
They're hot, and
Oh my God, the sweat, everything.
yes, and you just can't see your coworkers' faces. It's just so.
That gives a whole new meaning to suffering for your art, right?
That is a good point. Yes.
So I recently, and I did not know this, that Victoria Liris is no longer the artistic director. Is that something you can talk about, or?
Yeah, there's not a whole lot I can say, except yes, she has stepped out, and we now have an interim artistic director. He's Michael Vernon.
He just emailed me, and I'm going to be talking to him on this podcast.
Oh.
I'm looking forward to that.
That's great. Yeah.
Former dancer.
Yes.
Yes. With whom? Do you
I
remember?
think he has a Royal Ballet background. He's also been in New York a lot, so he's
Okay.
taught at Steps, and of course.
So he's
been with IU.
interim.
Yes.
Okay.
He's
All right.
interim. So.
But back to Victoria. It's nothing controversial.
No, not that I can particularly share, but.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I could say is this organization would not exist if it weren't for her. So, I personally, I am very grateful for her.
Well, her passion is well known in this community.
Yes.
And, studying at the feet of Balanchine, correct?
Yes,
That,
yes.
and the whole idea that she uses this quote, or you use the quote about first a school.
Yes.
And she did that.
She did
And
that.
out of that school came the company.
Yes.
And so she built it.
Yes.
There's something to say about founders,
Yes.
the visionaries. So she's definitely among that group. So moving forward, I presume you're just going to build on what she created. So it's not as if you're starting anew.
No, I don't think so. I think this company will always have a bit of Balanchine in it. As for where this company will go from here, it's hard to say because Michael is interim for the time being, and I do believe there is a search going on for a permanent artistic director.
And so far, what have you worked with him on?
We have work primarily with him on Sleeping Beauty, which is really in about 2 weeks or so.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, I lost track. When does it open?
It is on March 6th and 7th.
Is that with the Indianapolis Symphony?
Correct,
Oh my
yes.
goodness.
It's our, big
Last year
show.
I saw Sleeping Beauty.
Last year was Swan Lake. The year prior
Yes.
was Romeo and Juliet.
Yes, and I saw them both, and
Yes.
oh my God, I reviewed them, and
Yes.
there's nothing to be critical about it. They were both triumphs.
Oh, thank you.
And to be in Cluse Hall, sold out audiences,
Mm-hmm.
and to see you all perform with a world-class orchestra.
Yes.
I mean, it really, the whole thing was a world-class experience for me. I've seen ballet all over the country, but to experience that here, from my point of view, I can assure people, if you've never experienced professional ballet, big city ballet, you don't want to miss this coming up. I mean,
I think
how did it
so.
feel to you to be on that stage with that orchestra behind you? Or
Well, it's really nice to have live music always. I think it just elevates the production to a whole new level.
and Jack Everly, of course,
Mhm.
he was with ABT
Yep.
for a long time.
Yes.
As a conductor.
Mm-hmm.
So he knows the art form.
He does.
And he knows how to conduct his musicians.
Mm-hmm.
And I've talked to musicians
Mm.
about those concerts, and
Oh.
they have the opportunity to work with dancers. It's a whole different experience.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
Being in sync, right?
Yes, because I think especially with the ballet, the tempos are so important for us dancers.
And if you're a professional dancer, you don't often get that opportunity to do dance. It's so expensive, right?
It is expensive. I think that was a big reason why we haven't had these opportunities as much as we'd like. But now that we are forging this relationship with the Indianapolis Symphony Orchestra, I think we have a lot more opportunities to
Oh
have
yeah,
these
plus
shows.
you're going to grow more because you're going to be making more money. They're going to be cash cows.
I wouldn't
So
say
it's
we'd
not
make a
only
lot
it's
of money.
it's not well, but still, I mean, you don't have to rely only on Nutcracker.
For sure. That's
That
true.
you're building an audience too of people who've never ever been to the ballet
We
or the symphony
are.
for that matter.
Yes, and it is nice that these two big organizations, art organizations, are coming together because, yes, that does bring each of our audiences.
I saw
Together.
people because I've been sitting in audiences for 40 years.
Oh,
So, I
wow.
mean, I just anecdotally, I can tell you I have a really good sense of like maybe someone who's new to theater. I mean, I could just tell.
Yeah.
The way I just can just tell. I don't have scientific evidence to prove that, but I saw a lot of people, I could just tell from their behavior, and I always, during intermission, I keep my eyes and ears open to hear what people are saying. And, I know for a fact that there were people there, a lot of them brought kids,
Mm-hmm.
because they wanted to expose like they do for Nutcracker. They may
Yes.
never show up for ballet except for Nutcracker,
Yeah.
but nevertheless, they're kids, many of them like you.
Yeah.
Even though your mother didn't take you to performances, but they can inspire, don't you
Oh,
think?
Of course, yeah.
And you meet these kids after performances, don't you?
Yeah, we can, and especially for Nutcracker, we started doing opportunities where, let's say you're just in Act 1, maybe you're the Snow Queen and you can go out into the lobby and the kids are mesmerized.
And your performances with the symphony at Cluse Hall, it also demonstrates for people who've never been that these two art forms are accessible.
Mm-hmm.
That you don't have to behave a certain way, dress a certain way. You don't have to you can go and just take in the experience, but you're not going to be expected to
yes.
The whole elitism thing. This isn't for me. This is only for rich people.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I would love for Indianapolis to know how high of a caliber of arts organizations we have, because I know we're a very sports heavy city, which is great. I think that's obviously revenue that the city is gaining, so that's awesome. But
That bleeds into our arts, though, because a lot of people, when they move here, corporations, they want to know, besides the sports, whatever.
Mhm.
They want to know, do you have a symphony?
Yeah.
Do you have an opera?
Mhm.
Do you have a ballet? What's
Yeah.
your theater like?
Yeah.
So, it does have an impact, but that's been a tough sell.
It has been. I
Years and
think.
years and years. I don't know that you can ever change that paradigm.
It is hard, but I'm just hoping, especially with these collaborations, that we can again reach a bigger audience
Mhm.
and introduce people and tell them that it is accessible.
So you've been here since 2017, did you say?
I officially moved in 18, but
18.
I came here in 2017.
Okay,
yes.
so how many years?
This is my 8th season.
Your 8th season.
Yes.
So do you feel like you're invested in Indianapolis?
I really am. I didn't think that was going to be the case when I first moved here.
Yeah, but I heard that your family's here and they have a business. So
Yes.
let's pivot to that. I saw
Sure.
that recently. I thought, how cool is that?
Yes. Yes, my mom and I have opened Legacy Tokyo last year in
Where's it
October.
located?
It's on 1011 Mass Ave.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's your place.
It's our place,
I
yes.
did not know that.
Yeah, we're in the Factory Arts District, so.
So
Yeah.
tell me about it.
We serve Japanese food, and this was actually my dad's dream to open a Japanese restaurant. But unfortunately, he passed away last year.
Oh, really?
before-
I didn't know that. I'm so
Yeah,
sorry.
Thank you. Yeah, so before he could see it through, he passed due to cancer.
How bittersweet.
Yes. But we're already kind of knee deep into the project, even after he was gone, and my mom and I were like, let's just continue his
It
legacy.
gave you something to focus on.
It
and a
did.
good distraction,
It
right?
did.
I'm
It,
sure on some level it made you also help you, comfort you so that you could fulfill his dream, right?
Yes. I think it was almost like an homage to
Yeah.
the husband and father that we loved.
You put a lot of love into it then, right?
Yeah.
So how's it turned out?
It's turned out really well. December was a little bit of a downturn just because a lot of people go on holidays and it's so cold. But I feel like a lot of people have embraced the restaurant, and I also have such a great community of people around me that it's
So
been-
tell me about the menu.
Oh, yeah. So we're actually sort of a partnership with this Japanese franchise that has over 200 locations
Is
in
this
Japan.
this is right next door to the ice cream place, or no? I have the wrong place on Mass Avenue.
Yeah, so we're a little bit in an interesting place. We are on 1011 Mass Ave, but you primarily enter it through Brookside Avenue. And there's actually DK along the line.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so when you turn onto Brookside Avenue and then you see the parking
I see. Yes.
right there, that's the...
Okay, I had the wrong place.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
No. It's...
Your competition.
No, DK's a wonderful company.
Yeah.
We love them.
No, I mean the restaurant I'm talking about on Mass Avenue. There is an
Oh.
Asian restaurant up there, so it's not Japanese. I might have misspoken.
Maybe,
Yeah,
but we
yeah.
are a little bit off of
Yes,
the main
right.
Mass Ave.
But
And
that's an up and coming area. That
is.
What was it called? What's it called?
It's called Factory Arts District.
Yeah.
I think it was called Circle City Industrial
Oh
Complex
yeah,
before.
they have developed cottage,
Yep.
the cottage neighborhood.
Yes. Yes.
And that whole area is
Mhm.
all the way to where the can is up
Yes,
there.
yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it has a lot of potential. I think that building itself is.
I bet you have a lot
continuing.
of neighbors who walk there.
Yeah, so it's a
Mhm.
really great little place. And so yes, the menu, it's a lot of rice bowls and
A lot of what?
a lot of rice bowls.
Okay.
We also have curry, Japanese curry. We have ramen now, and yeah, it's a little bit of Japanese street food, comfort
Sushi?
food. We are not doing sushi because we just wanted to kind of hit the floor
Yeah.
Just get going.
Gotcha.
And it is expensive to hire like a sushi chef.
Uh-huh.
But we kind of wanted to stay away from sushi a little bit and introduce Indianapolis to what
Yeah.
other Japanese cuisine there is.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So, I have to ask this question. I was at a sushi restaurant
Oh.
recently,
Uh-huh.
and the discussion revolved around, okay, how fresh is this food? And, well, they obviously have to fly it in. We don't get that. We don't get this fish out of the White River. So, tell me about that.
Well, I would assume with raw fish, I think I've been to Salt on Mass Ave.
Well, I'm talking about your restaurant. Do you serve
We
fish
don't
about any of the dishes or not?
Oh, we do have tuna tataki, yes.
Okay.
But I think my general manager knows a little bit more
Okay.
about how this process is. Especially when I'm doing full time at the ballet, it is a little bit hard to be at the restaurant.
Of course.
Also. So I do rely heavily on my general manager. As
How
well
much
as my
time
mom.
do you spend there?
Honestly, I'm more behind the scenes. I manage more of the administrative side.
Oh, wow.
the-
So you are an accomplished businesswoman as
I
well.
am trying to lean into that career as well.
Well, you
because-
certainly have something to fall back on when your
Correct.
days and your numbers are. I mean,
It's a short career.
it is a short career. What is it?
is.
Depends, but is it like late 30s, early
You know,
40s, or
I-
it depends on your body,
It
right?
definitely depends on the individual. If you are in good condition and you take good care and you don't run into many major injuries, I think you could go to your late 30s, even 40s. But
Have
that's
you had
about
any
it.
injuries?
Not big ones. I haven't had any surgeries,
Mm.
so I am very lucky. Knock on wood. I am in pretty good shape, to be honest.
You've had some good partners who didn't drop you.
Yes, yes, that is a big part too. But
I was
honestly,
at a performance the other night of Indiana Ballet Conservatory,
Yep.
and all those young students, and I am so in awe of the athleticism that comes with being a ballet dancer, the control, and the whole idea of and I don't think the common, not the common, but people who don't know about what it takes to be a ballet dancer understand the athletic part of it. To make it look like you're defying gravity and to stretch those legs, and with the fingers and the wrist and the hands, and I just in such awe of that, the poise and control, to make it look easy and
Yes.
effortless, like you're. That's what people and the toe work. I mean, it's just it blows my mind. It never gets old.
It is interesting. I do think about it from time to time when I'm just casually on my toes, and I'm like, yeah, this is normal.
And so for people listening who don't know, you mentioned when you were young and you had to pay for your own toe shoes.
Yep.
Why are they so expensive?
I
know, but I want to hear you talk about that.
I mean, I don't necessarily know why they're so expensive. I don't think they require any special materials that are expensive. But I guess it's just probably the demand for it maybe isn't as much as regular sneakers. It could be something as simple as that.
How long do they last? One performance?
Again, that's also individual. If you have really, really arched feet, I think you can go through a shoe in like 2 hours.
Oh my goodness, I didn't realize
But
that.
me, I don't have super arched feet, and I go through my shoes very slowly. I usually like to rotate around 4 pairs per production.
And it also makes a difference on how worn the fabric is too, right?
Yeah, there are also different types of brands of point shoes
Oh, are
as
there?
well. So it does depend on that as well.
Do you have any idea what the budget is for toe shoes for your company?
I do not actually.
Well, I only ask because if there's any donors out there, you're always
we
looking.
are always looking for donors, yes.
Yeah. Do you interact with donors at all?
We do, especially at, our sponsor events, galas.
What kind of questions do they ask you?
I mean, that's a common question, how much are your shoes? How long do they last? Does it hurt? What do you eat? That's a big one. And just, honestly, I think they're also curious about what this career entails because they don't understand, not all of them. Some of them are veterans. They know exactly what we do. But some of them who are new, they might be like, so what does your typical day look like? Mm-hmm. And I would probably just say, yeah, we start with a ballet class, which is basically a warm-up and also improving your technique so that you're ready for the day of rehearsals. So.
Well, I've asked in my association with ballet, but also as a writer, I've done stories on DK dancers, contemporary dancers. What's a day in the life like? So I'll ask you that. What is your typical day as a dancer entail?
A regular rehearsal day, we would start at 9:30 with an hour and a half class. Again, class sounds funny, but that's just the term that we dancers
people
use.
ask, well, what do you mean by that?
It's a structured warm-up for ballet dancers. We start at the bar, which are literally wooden or metal bars that are either attached to the wall or they're separately in the center. You can just hold them. And you do a set of exercises to warm up the muscles and repeat and refine the movements that you need for ballet and for performances. So once you finish those set of exercises holding that bar, you would move into the center and you would do again another set of exercises and movements so that you are now without the bar and you're dancing on your own. So there's those two parts, bar and center is what consists of class. It's kind of like a gradual warm-up of things. There's just a very specific sequence that we go through.
And there's that similarity to athletics.
Yes.
When you're an athlete, you see them out there stretching and warming up. Same reason your body needs to be ready to perform, right?
Yes. And then we would finish usually at 11 o'clock. We would start rehearsals from 11:15, usually an hour block, and then we would take lunch at 2.
I marvel at the stretching. I marvel at, but in order to make it look effortless and to have that toe up in the air, that takes a lot of work.
It does. And I think because ballet has to look effortless, people don't know that it doesn't.
Well, you can tell the people who do know what it takes because, when you hear that applause on, when people are spinning and leaping and turning, like quad guy. What do you think of him, by the way?
I mean,
the skaters.
I think just as people are mesmerized as we do our point work on our toes, for me, I can't imagine doing jumps and stuff on ice.
Of course.
You know, so again, that's just something you're used to and you in your own profession, in your own line of work. So I think
Have you had any Indianapolis Colts or Pacers do class with you guys?
I feel like we had one person, but maybe I'm just imagining
For
it.
people who don't know what I'm talking about, athletics, there are some teams that, that's part of their training. They have their people go out and take some ballet classes. And what would you think that reason would be for these guys?
I think ballet just generally makes you work a lot of different muscles that might be helpful for other athletic.
Yeah. Balance and.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even
Limberness and
yes,
speed. Yeah.
So I think I really, if you're not, even if you're not trying to become a professional ballet dancer, I think it's just good for the body. It's, well, I don't know if I'd say it's good for the body. It is unnatural, I will say that. But I think it might be fun to explore, especially like maybe through the lines of like, it's Pilates or, because we are a lot about lengthening our muscles, but being strong at the same time.
So tell me about Yoshiko the person. Does she have a personal life? I mean, is there anybody special in your life, or you don't have time?
I mean, I've had relationships, and I think as I get older, I do want to have a family, of my own.
You heard it here, everybody out there. Someone's listening. She's on the market.
Yeah, I guess I am.
So you're not married to your job and your business?
That is such a fine line, because we always talk about balancing your life.
Sure.
And it's important. But when you have a job as specific as mine, and especially with a time limit, you do want to invest your time in it,
The clock is ticking.
Yeah, but at the same time, then you can also say, well, there's a biological clock too, right? If you want a family as a woman,
There's that old question again. Can you have it all?
Yeah.
Right? But you got this layer with this business thing too.
Yeah, and I still have so much more to learn in the business area, and I haven't spent nearly enough time as I should. But
do you hang out with friends, and are they mostly company people, or have you met other people out there in the community?
All my coworkers will probably tell you that I never go to parties.
Oh.
I go to my job parties, the sponsors, events, and now that I have the restaurant, I think my social circle has gotten bigger.
Oh yeah, customers.
Yes, but
Do the dancers go there?
Yeah, they've been really supportive.
That must be fun.
It's really great. I mean, I love my dancers. They're so great, and
they're from for people who don't know. Are they from all over the country, all over the world? Or?
We have a few nationalities. Obviously.
Well, I'm Latino, so I know that you have some Cubans.
Yes,
don't
we
you?
have some Cubans. We have a Brazilian. Am I missing anybody?
Are there any other Asians in the company?
I think as of now, in the company, it's just me, but I think we have some trainees who have some Asian background.
How about African Americans?
Oh, yes. We have 2 African American dancers.
Well, Misty Copeland's gotten a lot of press over her time, and especially in the last few years, and I'm beginning to notice, I try to keep an eye on trends and developments, and it's heartening to see more and more news stories about companies that are being more inclusive.
Yes.
And she opened the door, obviously, for that to happen, but it took a while.
Oh, for sure. I mean, this ballet was from a European, has European roots, so, I'm sure it took as long as it did.
In that performance I saw the other night with IBC, there was a young woman who was adopted, born in Congo, and it warmed my heart to see that, the whole idea, and you've been here before, you want to see people like you, who look like you, right?
Sure.
On stage, and so, there's no reason why the arts shouldn't reflect the world as it is, different colors, different backgrounds, and it's not just for, if you will, the predominant race, right?
No, I agree.
So tell me, what are your goals as a professional dancer artistically?
I mean, there's always something that I'm working on, whether it's artistically or technically. Because there's just you can't reach perfectionism. There's nothing perfect about live arts.
Well, let's talk about that, because I admit I'm a perfectionist and it drives me crazy. I mean, but then I think, well, why not? I mean, why not aspire to it? Isn't that what art's about?
Yes, I think it's very important to always aim high. I've always had
But
really...
you shouldn't. Here's the thing I struggle with, because then I beat myself up, and then I have to remember that's really not very productive.
Yeah, I think it's just, you have to look at it from so many different perspectives, and you have to put everything into perspective. So
yes.
As much as you strive to do better all the time, I think I also have to anchor myself and say, but this is also the progress that I've made. And so having goals and maybe not achieving them right away doesn't make you a failure.
Exactly.
So I just try to do the very best that I can.
I'm sure it hasn't escaped you that there's a lot of much more discussion, at least in athletics, and I don't know that I've heard that much in the performing arts, but I'm sure there is. More and more people are paying better attention to their mental health. How do you feel about that? Is it important? You talked about having balance, for instance.
Yeah, no, I think mental health is honestly maybe a good 50% of being successful in this field.
And right now, because of the Olympics, I'm seeing a lot of athletes talking about what we're talking about, the pressure, and how much pressure is if you're like the quad guy, and he fell, and I felt, my heart went out to him, because he's been doing a lot of press and trying to explain it. It's coming down. He's like being very, open about, it's a lot of pressure when people when you go out there and, you have to find a place to, someone said, Schiffler, she was talking about how there's so much pressure on me to win this gold medal because I haven't for whatever. And she said, but I had to just go out there and I just had to focus and simplify, which I thought was interesting. Do you know what that means?
Yeah. I think...
Just the sport. She just had to focus in on the noise. She had to shut out.
Yes. I think personally that's a pretty... It's a strength for me. I think I'm really good at focusing and tuning out when I really need to. I think that's what happens in shows or the preparation leading up to the shows. When I'm in the zone, I see nothing else.
Yeah. I'm as a reviewer, it took me a while, and my vocabulary, I'm not a dancer, but I've seen enough and know enough to have. But you can only come up with so many adjectives to describe dancing, and I don't write for dancers and choreographers, but I had to come to understand. And so our listeners, explain to me some things you often hear as it relates to ballet. What does musicality mean? When a dancer is said to have musicality, what does that mean?
I would say, this is difficult to explain in layman's terms, but you see their dance syncing up with the music.
Okay, so it's the music.
Yeah. I don't think there is a singular correct way when it comes to musicality. I think there's always a bit of play in how you interpret music. Different dancers interpret differently, but there is always a baseline of certain marks that you have to hit.
It sets you apart, though, if you
yes.
have a special musicality
Yes.
as an artist.
Yes.
Just like singers and actors.
Yeah, and I think you can just kind of see it, even if you don't really understand it. I think
It's also kind of a stage presence thing, isn't it?
Yeah, stage presence is another thing, too. I think that's what we would call charisma or aura.
Well, how's that different than personality? And what is personality?
That is an interesting thing because I think your personality comes through in your charisma and your aura. I do think who you are as a human being takes a big part in who you are as an artist. I think it does influence and shape who you become on stage.
You know, in theater and acting, there are personality actors and there are character actors.
Okay.
Well, I'm just saying that there's some relationship to what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Characters, they're each performance is unique, and if they're personality actors, who they really are is reflected. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
And then, so yeah, again, that, you know, I look for those things as a critic, you know, what sets this dancer apart. And then there's the whole thing, as I was telling you, about how I just get really caught up in going back and forth, looking at the company when they're doing these large ensemble numbers, and they're all in sync.
Yeah.
And sometimes it is flawless. And it could be the night that I was there.
It could
and
be.
And then I guess I'm trained now, and I can tell when someone is not in sync. It throws me off. But isn't that what the art is? You want it to look like it's just like, oh my goodness. You know?
And
I know what kind of work that takes for.
Especially ensemble work. It is a difficult job, you know, to get 20 dancers to try and do the same thing.
I mean, even the tiny little finger stuff.
Yes. Yes.
The arch of the wrist, right?
Yeah. No.
Wow. Well, listen, this has just been great, and I hope for our audiences, you know, I've given them a good look at, you know, what the life of a dancer is. And, you know, why not? This is a commercial for your restaurant, too. I can't wait to come down, go over there, if you will, and sample.
Yeah.
So, what would be? I always like to leave my my subjects with a question, or leave our audience by asking this question. What do you say to two people, the parent of like your mother? What would you say to someone who's listening about leading their child to dance as a, you know, even a profession?
I mean, I think dance is something maybe everyone should try once in their life. But making it into a profession is a whole other story, and that drive has to come from the individual who's doing it. No amount of pressure from either a parent or any other teacher or other outside influences will.
Doesn't it generally backfire anyway?
Honestly, they'll burn out. They just won't love it. And I always say, if you don't love this, it's not going to work out.
And what do you say to maybe some young dancer out there? And by the way, you can start late, right? It doesn't necessarily mean you're going to make the pros.
No, you can start late. There's actually a lot of guys that start late and they make it into a professional too.
Has the situation gotten better with more men in ballet?
I think so. I think it's still always going to be a hard sell, but I think it's become more inclusive and a safer environment for male dancers or male presenting dancers to try.
Do you think, though, that has a lot to do? This is just again my observation that ballet and contemporary dance for men has captured the attention of a lot of people who've been exposed to pop culture ever since Michael Jackson started surrounding himself with, you know, dancers, and now it's pretty common. You don't see any group out there.
Yeah.
I'm generalizing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's really they made the connection between the pop culture stuff. A lot of those guys are trained dancers, right?
Yeah.
And you can tell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And honestly, dance it requires so much from a guy too.
And you know, then there's the whole homophobia thing, which just annoys me, you know? And yet, you know, I certainly have connected with a lot of heterosexual men, And sometimes it's really funny. They say, well, look at it. If I want to meet women, what better place than ballet?
This is true.
Okay, well, we've torn the curtain off the mystique, right? So thank you so much for taking the time to come and talk to me. It's been a pleasure getting to know you. I feel like, you're so gracious every time I've seen you, but we've never really had a chance to have a long conversation. So I appreciate you being here. And with that, I will see you on the aisle.
I will. Thank you.
Our thanks go out to our media sponsor, Urban Times. Urban Times is a monthly news magazine which serves as the official newsletter for 15 Indianapolis neighborhoods, offering news about development, arts and entertainment, and from the business community. Thank you for joining me on the aisle. Please subscribe to my podcast, and if you want to hear previous episodes, find them on the All Indiana Podcast Network, or listen to them wherever you get your podcasts. This is Tom Alvarez.
Who will take center stage on the podcast next? Your seat on the aisle with Tom Alvarez awaits. Follow Tom on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, and make sure to visit tomalvarez.studio. Watch Tom every other Thursday on Lifestyle Live on Wish TV, and make sure to listen every week here on the All Indiana Podcast Network.